Tonight on Q2, one long-standing homicide investigation closes.
But now another two are open.
He's been staying up here all this time, and I don't know how somebody would come along and do any harm to him.
We'll hear from the family of one of the victims as they come to grips with their loss.
Plus, new threats of violence at Billings West High School.
It bothers me as a parent, it bothers my child, and I kind of just want answers.
We speak with parents planning to keep their kids out of class because of it.
Plus, Santa is still coming to town.
But a longtime Magic City tradition is ending.
Santa got fat over the years, and he got heavy, and so the little helicopters wouldn't haul him anymore.
The MTN News starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger.
And I'm Andrea. Lutz. New tonight, Carbon County police say that a man found dead after an April fire in a Bridger casino first killed a woman before dying of a possible suicide.
The 8-month-long investigation into the deaths of John Ailes and Marla Murray revealed that Murray died of multiple head wounds. Based on security footage, she was struck in the head with a pry bar.
Well, Ailes cut the line to the furnace and ignited the natural gas. He indicated thoughts of suicide and was on meth.
Well, Billings police now say the case of a man found dead at a local apartment complex is being investigated as a homicide.
It all started last night when officers found a 38-year-old dead inside of his apartment at the complex off of Grand Avenue.
Tonight, our Phil Van Pelt returned to the scene and heard from his family as they try to make sense of this tragedy.
Joey Little lived here at the Briar Patch Apartments behind me for the past 4 years, and I spoke with family members at his apartment who are heartbroken and left searching for answers in the wake of his death.
That one day, I think it was Saturday, that's the last time I messaged him. I don't know,
Saturday was the last time the Littles heard from their brother and son, Joey.
He's been staying up here all this time, and I don't know how somebody would come along and do any harm to him for some reason. He's always friendly towards people, and he's always joking and teasing around.
Sometime between Saturday morning and Monday afternoon, police say Joey Little was stabbed to death. His body found by a neighbor who saw his door ajar and checked to make sure everything was all right. No suspect has been identified, but the family says police are questioning several people.
It looked like they might have been fighting, or he was fighting somebody off or something, and it ended up down here. He ended up here on the chair. That's where my son found, seeing him through the door when the police were here.
The family says Joey made friends with everyone he met and was working as a cook at Red Lobster.
He's the type of person, he'll go out of his way to check on you. He'll call you, go visit you, and just do whatever he can to make sure you're good.
And that's why their sudden loss is that much more difficult to bear. A family with questions they don't have answers to.
Why Joel? I mean, he did no bad to anybody or anything, he just, I don't know, there's so many questions, but no answers.
In Billings, Phil Van Pelt, MTN News.
And now tonight, one man is dead. A woman is in custody after yet another homicide here in Billings. A 64-year-old man was found dead by Billings police tonight inside a residence on 412 Hillview Lane. That's near Optimus Park. Officers were responding to a welfare check requested from another agency after a 32-year-old woman admitted to killing him. That woman is now in custody in another jurisdiction. Detectives continue to investigate, and no other details are released.
Well, the halls of Billings West High may be a little emptier tomorrow.
Yeah, this as some parents say they're pulling their kids out of class following not one, but 2 threats at the school.
As of today, those threats have not been substantiated, but as Kelsey Marison reports, parents aren't taking any chances.
That threat was written on a bathroom stall here at West High. And unfortunately, threats like this are fairly common at West and other Billings schools.
I just want to make sure my kid is safe when they go to school and that the rest of the kids and staff are safe.
Like many parents, Shelley Solomon is bothered by recent incidents inside the halls of West High School. Threats of violence, like this one, prompted a police investigation and beefed up security.
It bothers me as a parent. It bothers my child. I kind of just want answers. others.
First, it was a hate symbol with a message stating the school would be shot up December 7th. And then another Tuesday, this time inside the girls' bathroom. Solomon isn't taking any chances. She's pulling her 15-year-old out of class.
I'm not completely satisfied with the response from the school district. All they've said is that they haven't substantiated the threat. However, there will be extra police presence, and that's all we've heard.
But what's even more concerning is just how often threats like these are made. The Anti-Defamation League tracks these types of incidents and documented 41 in Montana just this year.
Over the past 5 or 6 years, extremist rhetoric, anti-Semitism, racist rhetoric, and so on has become really normalized, not just in Montana, but across the whole country.
Sherilyn DeVries is the communications manager for the Montana Human Rights Network. She says even if the threats are a hoax, they're harmful and take a toll on students.
It's really important for schools to make sure that this kind of stuff isn't just normalized or is put into a kids will be kids sort of situation. This is not acceptable because it makes people unsafe.
MTN reached out to School District 2 Superintendent Greg Upham and West High Principal Kelly Hornby on Tuesday to ask how many parents have excused their kids from class on Wednesday, but we haven't heard back. Billings police say the threat left last week can't be substantiated, but some parents aren't taking the risk, especially after another one Tuesday.
As parents, you hope and pray that when you drop your child off at school or they get off the bus that everything's going to be okay and that they come back home safe.
In Billings, Kelsey Marison, MTN News.
Billings has seen its fair share of anti-Semitic incidents over the years. I caught up with Albina Lane of the Not in Our Town movement. She calls the discovery of that swastika inside Billings West concerning.
When children start to put this information out to one another and they put that sign on a school bathroom, it's not just for one group, one religion. It's a hate symbol. They have hate in their heart for someone else. And that needs to be nipped in the bud.
The Not in Our Town movement got started back in 1994 when a child's window decorated for Hanukkah was smashed by a brick here in Billings. Residents responded in a show of love and support, taking a stand against hate.
First, want to say thank you to Timothy for sending in this picture. Around 2:30 this afternoon in Sheridan, Wyoming, you can see the form in the clouds here. We don't see this very often as the colder air is closer to the surface, and then we'll see the warmer, lighter air up aloft. So the winds are much slower closer to the surface, and aloft we see them moving much more quickly. Think of it like dragging a spoon through a bowl of peanut butter as opposed to perhaps whipping cream. It just moves along a lot more quickly. So this starts to cause this rotation in the clouds, and they start to fold over on top of each other. Something we don't get to see too often. Always love to hear from you. Share your pictures through our free weather app, or you can reach us at weather@ktvq.com. The forecast is coming up.
Tonight, we say goodbye to a decades-long tradition that was all started as a way to get folks in that Christmas spirit.
You may remember how year after year, Billings Flying Service lifted Santa and his reindeer into the air for all to see.
Our Alina Howder has more on why this is the year that they'll say goodbye.
With the help of the Blaine family, Santa has been visiting rooftops across Billings since 1980. It's a tradition that many in the city have treasured for years. But alas, all good things must come to an end.
It became a tradition and a memory that we'll just always hold really dear.
Every Christmas Eve, from the West End to the Heights, families have tilted their eyes to the skies to catch a glimpse of Christmas magic.
We had great-grandparents, grandparents, parents, and children all together that would just grab blankets or whatever it took, and we'd go out on Grandma's deck and watch for them and wait, and it was just magical.
Sue Furstenberg is among the many grateful to Gary Blaine and his family who have guided Santa over the city for the past 42 years. The family owns Billings Flying Service and used a small helicopter to help pull Santa's sleigh. But sadly, they say the big guy has gotten too big.
Santa got fat over the years, and he got heavy, and So the little helicopters wouldn't haul him anymore, and the big helicopters, it's just ridiculously expensive to try and do it.
The Blaines are officially calling it quits on this holiday tradition, although they say there's more than one reason why.
A year ago, the Santa did blow over, and it was damaged, it was bent, and really unsalvageable, so you'd pretty much have to make a new one.
A bittersweet decision, especially knowing how much those bright lights in the sky have meant to so many.
People flashing lights, people bring radios out to me and have me talk to their kids on the way by and circle their house.
Jody Drange and her 2 kids made it a part of their Christmas Eve tradition.
Kept the door cracked, listened for the helicopter coming by, and then as soon as you could hear it, like the kids, our coats were all sitting by the door, and we'd grab our coats and we'd run out, and then as soon as he'd fly over, then we'd all go in and we'd open all the presents.
And it's a custom that has been passed down to her kids.
They were like, yeah, we remember that. It was so much fun. That became their tradition too.
If the people enjoyed it, I enjoyed it twice as much.
In Billings, Alina Howder, MTN News.
Well, still ahead on the MTN 10 o'clock news here on Q2. The fight is on to end a growing crisis in Montana. Up next, we'll tell you how you can help.
And in sports, the Bobcats community continue to mourn the loss of a legend. We are remembering Sonny Holland in just a bit.